Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about this fast loop sling from Brash Tactical. I've been basically testing it out for about 2 weeks now. So this is a 2-point sling, right? Attaches at 2 points, and it has a fast loop over here, so you can loosen it up, tighten it up. And this is a $17 sling, right? So we're talking specifically about an economy sling here, right? I do have more expensive slings, but here's the thing: lots of times I get called to different ranges, different training locations to train people, and they're going to show up with a rifle. And they got an optic on it, but they don't have a sling on the rifle, and or they have the wrong type of sling. And here's the thing: you have to have a sling on your rifle. Basically, the sling, the rifle sling is functions kind of like as a holster for the rifle. It's a way to go hands-free. Because a lot of times I'm talking to people, right? I'm gonna say, okay, let the rifles hang. That means keep your hands off the gun while I'm talking to you, right? If I see people starting to play with it, get your hands off the gun, right? It's just a safety mechanism that I use during training. I want people to be able to talk to people. I want to know that their hands are off the gun. It's just hanging on their body. So the rifle sling is a very important safety tool when you're training people. Okay, so that's the one thing, right? Now, obviously, it's also a very useful tactical tool because it offers retention, right? While the rifle is attached to your body, right? You know, it's hard for somebody to get it off your body. And if you're in a grappling situation where somebody's pulling on this, right, while they're busy trying to pull this off the body, basically you're going to your backup gun, you're going to your pistol, right? So this keeps the gun on your body. Okay, so that's another very important feature of the sling. Now, one of the things I have been testing over the last 2 weeks is the strength of this, right? So I've had several people on different occasions where we're doing grappling drills, right? And I'm tugging on them and I'm pulling on this to see how it holds up, and it holds up pretty good. The loop stays in its place, and that is the one of the primary things that I was looking for, right? Because I do have other economy slings that I've been using over the last 2 years, and I've run into two problems with all the other economy slings that I have used. Either it's not fast enough, right? So the loop doesn't move as fast as I want it to move, right? It kind of gets hung up. It's a very slow, this one's fast. So this is indeed a fast loop, okay? It's not something that I'm gonna sit there and fight with. Now that's like half of the ones I've used. The other half, right? They were fast, but they wouldn't stay in position, right? So what would happen is, I could easily move it, but then, if I told people to hang the rifle, right, after a while, the rifle, the loop would start to slide down, and certainly if I did any tugging, all right, it would start to loosen up. Okay, so that's the other problem I have had with these economy fast loop slings that this sling from Brash Tactical seems to have solved. Right, they have solved it. I have not seen a problem with the loop being slow, all right, or a problem with it sliding down out of position. Okay, so let's talk about how I position this, right? So the way I position this, because this is adjustable from up here, right? You got these two buckles up here. So the way I position this is when I pull the loop, I want the loop coming up to the top of my hip. Okay, so that's where I want it positioned. So that when I want to loosen it up, I just extend my arm, right, and that loosens it up. And then to tighten it up, I'll just bring it back up to my hip. And what that does is it brings the stock basically to the position that it would be, where if I bring the rifle up, it's there. I don't have to lift it. It's just already there. So that's what I'm looking for in the positioning of the sling, so that it brings the rifle right in the spot over here. So even if I come up one-handed, boom, it's right there, right? It's just naturally going to roll up to that position. Now, the problem with having the sling set to this position here is, let's say I want to go from a low ready position to a high ready position. Well, I don't have enough slack in the sling. So the fast loop allows me to just let this out, and that gives me the slack I need to point the gun up, okay? And then here's the thing. Let's say, okay, fine, I got this extra slack now, right? Now let's say I want to let the rifle hang. Well, now look where this thing is kind of all over the place. It's loose on my body. That's not good. I don't want to be moving around like this, so I'm going to basically tighten this up, bring this back up to my hip, and that brings the stock where I want it to be, right? So from this position here, I'm in a position to roll this over my back, right? So this is really convenient if I'm going to be moving, right? Because a lot of times, you know, I'm walking through the woods or I'm carrying stuff to different shooting positions. So I want to be able to use my hands. I want the rifle behind me where it's out of my way. And then from there, I can just whip the rifle around and I'm ready to use it, okay? So that works out really good. So another benefit now of the fast loop, if you want to load the gun, right? So in this position here, let's say I want to load the gun. To load the gun, a lot of times I want to go into that high ready position, which again is kind of awkward, right? With the sling being this tight, right? So I'm going to loosen up the sling, bring this up, okay? Put my magazine in, right? I have enough room to run the charging handle, put my safety on, okay? Now, I am using a 22 conversion bolt in right now, right? So this isn't a 5.56 rifle. I got a 22 conversion bolt in here. And the reason is because I'm going to be doing some exercises, some drills up close on those steel rims behind me. And I don't want to be shooting those with 5.56 because I don't want a piece of the rim in my head, okay? So I just loaded my magazine here. Now I'm going to tighten this loop up, okay? Now the way I have this set up, when I tighten it, the loop basically goes to the top of my hip, all right? So that's where I want it. And when I loosen it, right, I just extend my arm to its full extension. And what that does is that usually gives me all the slack that I need, but there's also like another 6 inches here. So if for any reason I did need some more slack, I can bring this a little bit further out. Okay, so this is why I set it up the way I do. It's kind of perfect where, you know, I can bring my hand up to my hip, which is a comfortable place to bring my hand up to, right? I wouldn't want to bring it up to here somewhere. I just bring this up to my hip here. I just let it out full arm length, okay? And that works pretty good for me. But if for any reason you want to adjust something different, you can do that from these buckles that are up here. Now, depending on how thick your jacket is, because right now I got a winter coat on, if it warms up a little bit and I take this off, well, now I got to readjust it, right? Because I need to get the sling a little bit tighter. So depending on what you're wearing from day to day, you might need to adjust it so that the loop comes to where you want it, which in my case is the top of my hip. Now let's talk about some other ways that you can use this fast loop sling. Let's say I want to do a left-right transition, right? So I come up, right? I'm coming up, I'm on target, right? But let's say I want to go to get the rifle on the left side, right? Because I'm leaning, peeking around the wall. Well, the sling is preventing me from doing that, right? So what I'm doing is I'm just going to let the loop out, and that allows me to bring the gun over to my left side, okay? All right, and then if I want to come back to the right side, just tighten the loop up. Now, that's the reason why, if you notice the way I have it set up, I don't put basically the QD point is on the outside of the stock, not on the inside, the way a lot of times you see people set it up, which is not wrong. It's just that putting attaching the sling on the outside of the stock, first of all, controls the rifle a little bit better, but it also allows me to do those easy left side transitions, okay? So that's something for you guys to consider, okay? So this is working pretty good. Like I said, this sling is from Brash Tactical. I've been working with it almost every day for the last 2 weeks. It is a $17 economy sling, but it's working great. I mean, it's definitely serving the purpose that I need. It's doing it's solving the problem that I had with other economy slings. It's you know, it's actually fast, so I can move the loop fast to the position that I wanted to, and it stays in position. All right, so those are the two things I was looking for that it seems like they've accomplished with this sling over here. Now, two things that I'm undecided about, right? I'm kind of undecided. The width of the strap, right, is about 1 inch, which, you know, because the strap is a little bit thinner, right? Because I have my other straps are like 1.25 inches wide, 1.5 inches wide. The width of this is only 1 inch because it's a little bit less wide, right? Only 1 inch wide. You can definitely feel that you know, basically it's a little bit more pressure on your body, right? Because it's more of a concentration on the force, okay? So that's the one thing to consider. Now, There are pads and stuff that you can put on the inside of the sling or around the inside of the strap. I have found that those paddings that go on the strap, they kind of get in my way. So I, even on the slings that come with these paddings, I usually just take them off. Okay, so that's the one thing that I'm undecided about. Okay, now it might be that the reason that they made it 1 inch thick, or 1 inch wide, right? Not 1 inch thick, 1 inch wide, is because when they try to go to a wider strap, they may have had too much resistance down here. Right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, but they might, it might be that they tried a wider strap and they ran into some problems. I don't know the answer to that, but I can tell you about that with this sling, with this width strap, is working. Okay, it's doing the things I needed to do. It's staying, it's moving fast, and it's staying in its position. The other thing that I'm undecided about is that the buckles are plastic. Now, this is a pretty thick plastic. It is pretty strong. Like I said, I've done some stress testing on this where I've been pulling on them, trying to pull the rifle off other people's bodies. I mean, there's no problem there as far as strength. Now, if you slam a tank door on this, right, it's probably gonna break, right? So if you slam a door on this, there's a good chance it might break, right? It's not metal, it's plastic. So it's, I wouldn't say that it's war grade. But I think it's certainly home defense grade. Okay, so like I said, I'm a little undecided on that still. I'm testing it out, but those are just like the two things I'm putting out there for you guys: the width of the strap and the fact that the buckles are plastic. But that's probably also contributing to the cost savings because it is a $17 sling. Okay, so let's do some exercise. I'm going to do a slicing the pie drill over here. Basically, I'm going to be coming around this corner. I got 3 targets set over there, those 3 rims. And what I want to do is I want to basically get up there and control that corner up there. Okay, so I'm going to come around this corner. I'm going to slice the pie around. I'm going to do like a hard press. So a lot of times when I do slicing the pie, I do it slow and carefully. This is now a situation where let's assume that there's already somebody else from that position over there putting fire on that target. All right, so they're already distracted. So I want to come around quickly and basically take them out and take them out and get to the position that I need to be in. Okay, so let's do this. All right, so what you saw is when I came around, I needed to cover this area here. I needed to see what was behind that wall as I came around. Let's do this again. So that's our slicing the pie. As I'm coming around, as soon as I see the first guy shooting at him, get to the next guy shooting at him. As soon as the third guy comes into my view, shoot at him, look behind, come around, continue that pattern of slicing the pie all the way around to see what's behind that wall. The second time around, I shot at the target over there, right? I said I deemed it to be a threat. So now I'm going to move to a different position. What I want to do is I want to do a tactical reload because I've already fired a bunch of rounds here. So I want to go to my next shoot with a full magazine. So to do a tactical reload, I'm going to let this thing out. I'm going to bring this up to that more convenient position. Take out my mag. Get the next one in, give it a tug. All right, so that's my tactical reload. Okay, so and of course tighten this back up. and then we're all set. Okay, good. So now I'm going to move you guys to a different position, and we're going to do something slightly different. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to slice the pie around this corner, except this time around, as I'm coming around, it's going to be more convenient for me to put the rifle on my left side, right? Because of the direction that I'm coming in. So before I come around this corner, I'm going to do a left side transition. And this is generally something that you want to do in advance. Like if you know you're going to be coming around, that's the time to do it. You don't do it in the middle of a gunfight. So since I know I'm coming around this corner, I know I want the rifle on my left side, I'm going to adjust the sling, bring the rifle to my left side, and then cut the pie around. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to basically start. Let's say I'm coming over here. As I'm coming around, I want to get to my left side, let the sling out, bring it over to this side here. Okay, so that was a situation where I cut around, had the rifle on my left side, shot the target, did a scan assess, short target over there, just engaged it on my left side because it didn't make sense to, even though normally I would be on my right side, it didn't make sense to go back to my right side. There's a target over there, there's a threat, I need to shoot it as fast as possible. So I just shot it from my left side. Okay, let's do this one more time. All right, so basically, there's some ideas of how to practice with the fast loop sling. And again, this is the one from Brash Tactical. Here, hold it up so you guys can see the label. Brash Tactical. I'll put a link below to their website. You can also buy it from Amazon. So let me know what you guys think of this video. Drop some comments below. Any questions, any suggestions, for different drills that we can do here. Let me know. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe and hit the bell button so you get a notification. So I'll talk to you guys soon.